At some point in every modern photographer's life, a question arises: where should I show my photos? There are plenty of options right now. Most people choose the easiest one: Instagram. It's fine if they at least make separate pages for it, but sometimes they mix their masterpieces with family photos, which is kind of funny. Another option is photo sharing sites like Flickr, where you can upload only photos. People often call this photo dumps. Sure, it's not Instagram with millions of posts per hour, but even there people upload hundreds of photos every hour. And how could we forget what photography influencers on YouTube constantly drill in our heads? To create your own portfolio website on Squarespace or whatever platform is sponsoring them this month. Honestly, I personally didn't like any of these options, and I'll explain why. Let's start with Instagram, which is now an AI dumpster on par with TikTok in that regard. I'll admit I haven't been on there since like 2021. Sure, a lot of photographers might disagree with me and say that Instagram is probably the easiest place to build an audience. But honestly, I don't really want to rub shoulders with AI masterpieces or help fuel Uncle Zach data centers. Elon's toxic swamp goes into the same fire. I did end up creating a page there though, but it's more of a necessary evil for my channel. Follow me if you want, but I'll rarely post there, and when I do, it mostly will be something related to the channel. Next up are photo dumps. To be honest, I've only ever visited two of them, Flickr and 5000 pics. My main issue with Flickr is that it's somehow blocked in my country. I have no idea where they found porn or extremist content, the main reason the sites get blocked here, but I didn't really like the idea of having to turn on VPN every time I wanted to upload a photo. 5000 pics works just fine, and I even uploaded a few photos there last year, and would have stayed there, raking up a few likes on my mediocre shots, if it weren't for a couple of things. First is their grid. Without a subscription, you can only upload about 20 photos a week. I have never uploaded anything on an industrial scale, and basically that's more than enough for me. But that damn counter never worked right for me. Sometimes it wouldn't reset at all for the following week, which was really annoying. Of course, I understand everyone needs to make a living, but honestly, their service wasn't worth what they were offering. Which brings me to complaint number 2, AI photos. Every week in the top photo section there was at least one photo generated by AI. Several times it even made it to the damn editor choice section. And it was pretty obvious that it was AI, all you have to do was zoom on the image, even though the rules always stated that generative content wasn't allowed. So I'm supposed to pay you to upload my photos and you are going to show me AI slop on top of my work. Thanks but no thanks. The last one is a portfolio website, which at first glance isn't such a bad idea. But then again, I am not really keen on paying for hosting a site that at best will get 5 visitors a month. And as I said in that video that literally no one watched, I am not planning on becoming some kind of super professional to take this all that seriously. So after going through that unpleasant experience, I decided not to upload my photos anywhere at all. For a whole year, I just saved my work in a folder on my computer, only occasionally printing a few for an album. Basically, things would have continued that way if I hadn't decided to start this YouTube channel. Well, obviously, how can you be a YouTube photographer if people won't see your photos except for the rare examples in your videos? So I decided to start a photo blog in what is currently the most forgotten place on the internet. I don't want to go into the whole story of what happened to this site, but if you're interested, look it up here on YouTube. In short, Tumblr was one of the pillars of the internet culture in the late 2000s and the first half of 2010s. Then the founders sold it to the Yahoo, which decided a couple of years later to make it completely family friendly. This led up to a massive exodus of users and huge financial loss, which in 2019 resulted in its sale to the company that owns WordPress for a paltry $3 million. And it has been in a state of life support ever since, without any big updates. And now many of you are probably wondering why on earth I decided to post my photos on this zombie website. Well, now I'll try to explain this strange choice. First, this site meant a lot to me back then, and it's probably the only place on the internet that annoys me the least these days. I've been registered there since around the early 2010s. My main subscriptions are a blog covering all kinds of retro aesthetics. I really love the vaporwave aesthetic, so Tumblr is practically a sacred place for me when it comes to that, because it's still somewhat alive there. Plus there is a ton of content there that you can't find anywhere else, except maybe the Internet Archive. Things like scans of 80s interior design magazines, screenshots of 90s websites, or just forgotten photos from various eras. And what I like is that people there often repost something from, say, 2013. It's really inspiring because even years later your post can still find an audience. I've hardly ever seen anything like this on other social media platforms, where only the latest content matters, and anything older than a year will most likely never be seen by anyone. Second, after that massive exodus of users, it's a very quiet place now. After adult content was banned, the most toxic and unpleasant people moved on over to Twitter. Which in a way makes you think about certain things, but that's certainly not the topic for this video or even this channel. So since then, this place has become a quiet heaven for people who just want to run their own blogs. I'm subscribed to many blogs that people have been running for over 10 years now. Lots of photographers from different countries also post their work there. There are photography communities, so there are no shortage of photography related content. Third, there is a very little AI-generated content. It's definitely present there, fortunately. I don't think there is any way to avoid it right now, but there is actually much less of it than on other platforms. Since Tumblr isn't very popular, the AI bros hardly post anything here. I very rarely come across AI slop in search results or recommendations. And fourth is a certain kind of freedom in design. It's probably the only social network right now that offers such capability to edit posts. You can edit the text, its color and size, the position of photos in a post, add lists and headings, and upload audio and video all within single post. Oh, and there is a separate section for tags. Tumblr love tags. And thanks to those who use them correctly, since you can easily block posts with tags that you don't want to see. Another plus, if you don't want your blog to open as a part of Tumblr, all your blogs gets a separate link that opens as a standalone web page. You can customize the look of that page however you want, especially if you have the experience with HTML. There you go, a portfolio page without spending a dime on hosting. All in all, the whole experience with Tumblr reminds me of the good old days of the internet, back when there was no AI or algorithms. But if after hearing this you decided you would like to start your own photoblog there are a few things I should warn you about in advance. It's not all rainbows and unicorns over there. There are also some downsides. First and foremost, if you're expecting thousands of likes every day, forget about it. As I mentioned earlier, the audience here isn't very large, so I guess you won't be able to build up your own brand as a photographer here, in contrast to, for example, Instagram. Next up are bots and scammers in the comments. They've gotten to the point where they pretend to be regular users by reposting and so on. As far as I can tell, sadly they will never get rid of this problem. So just delete these comments and report suspicious profiles. They get banned relatively quickly. Also, the site's team and the audience in general tends to lean towards a certain socio-political perspective, so to speak. You can see this in the top search or recommended topics. Of course, almost all the toxic crowd has migrated over to Elon Musk platform, but some might have stayed behind, because Tumblr used to be, so to speak, a cradle for such people. So if you hold a different, unshakable stance, I don't think you will like it there. But Yagi-san, what about the ban on adult content? That's censorship. What about my freedom of speech? Are we communist or something? Calm down, my dear editor. From what I've seen, no one gets banned just for showing boobs or butts. Like in new photography, for example. People get banned for posting corn, which is, in principle, I agree with. I am not against spicy content, but I think it should be kept in separate places. Well, I guess that's all I can say about this zombie platform, which I like much more than all the others. It's still there and reminds me of good old days of the internet. So I recommend creating a personal blog there too, if you are tired of the constant grind on Instagram. But all this comes with the caveat that this is just my personal experience with the site. Your experience might be completely different. In any case, I would be happy if you followed my blog there. I post my photos there pretty often. And that's the end of the video for today. As always, please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content and more photography related content to come. So stay tuned. Have a good day.